is that advanced performance management or advanced management accounting is a paper that requires a certain measure of, analytical abilities. All right. So it's a paper that it's a course that we are going to ensure that we break down into smaller pieces, partly because it's one of those papers where you just don't know what to expect. All right. So today marks the beginning. Usually we should have started by last month, but due to some of the program that we had and the timings and a few things. But anyway, here we are about to start. So I want you to feel as comfortable as you can. Please feel free to use your common sense. Feel free to think. All right. Just to tell you a little bit about advanced performance management or advanced management accounting. This is arguably the most challenging paper. I have to be honest with you from the outset. It is arguably the most challenging, and of course, one of those with lower pass rates. Of course, we have a strategic business analysis, a business leader. We have advanced audit. Also, those are very low pass rates. But we cannot rule out advanced performance management or management management because these ones are also quite low pass rate papers. And the reason is simple. The reason is partly because when we talk about advanced performance management, what we are trying to talk about here is the fact that you are now no longer an accountant. All right. This is what I wanted to get, guys, from the outset. I wanted to get the fact that at this point, you are no longer a traditional accountant, the accountant that goes for work in the morning, gets a spreadsheet, begin to punch numbers, begin to submit reports, blah, 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 blah. No, you've passed that level. There's this kind of accountant, you just graduate from school, they give you this fancy office, you are writing numbers, you're excited, you're the accountant. No, not that accountant. When you come to advanced performance management, you are a hybrid accountant, a modern accountant, an accountant that drives the strategic direction of the whole organization. So you are no longer in a small office somewhere or in a fancy office somewhere trying to punch figures. No. At this level, you are the one that is guiding the direction of the whole entire organization. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you are now a senior director at this level. You are no longer, like some, maybe you could be the finance manager or finance something, but not at that level. We're talking about somebody extremely senior and advanced. So guys who are watching us live, I ask that please share this video. I really hope that we help as many people as we can. And I also want to tell you that in the just released results, we did actually have one of the better performers, that is the name I'm showing on the screen, of Kahemba Mwanga, a student who scored 67%. Now, guys, the reason why, as a lecturer, I'm so proud of this exceptional lady is partly because getting 67% in advanced performance management is not a joke. It is not a joke. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of studying, a lot of commitment, and of course dedication. So the lady did get that 67%, and just so you know, I think I had come with a picture. Okay, so let's go. Let's try and that's a picture there. That's the lady that got 67%. So you can see a picture. Her name is Mwanga, Kahemba Mwanga. All right, she's one of our higher performers this semester in advanced performance management. And what you see just right after a picture there is, of course, the results. Okay, those are her results. So she got, of course, 67%. Can you see that 67? Let's go. Oh, it looks. Oh, it's down, right down there. So I have to remove that. Yes. Okay. Good. So you can see that is 67%. The results were out a few days ago, and that's what she got. She's one of our higher performers. So that means that this paper is extremely passable. and it's extremely understandable. If we have somebody getting as high as 7%, it means it's possible. But I must tell you, it takes a lot of hard work and commitment. It's not a walk-over paper like some other lower papers we've done. This one is a whole new level. So I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Kahemba, for your exceptional performance in advanced performance management, advanced accounting. We are so as results, guys. As you can see, very fantastic results. Extremely fantastic. So that's Kahemba there. Congratulations, Kahemba. We rejoice with you. So there we go, guys. Yeah. So now let's begin. What is this advanced performance management? Now, if you look at the textbook for, it's quite, it's not necessarily big like the way it is for advanced audits. No, this one is quite reasonable text. It's not so big, as big. I find it to be a bit reasonable. It's not so big, but I don't really use this text. Yeah, don't really use it that much, but it's a good text. I like it. It has got a lot of explanation. But what I wanted to know from the outset, Mariah, is that this course is a bit different from other courses. Now, I'm going to tell you why. What I'm about to tell you is by far one of the most important things you need to know before you even begin to study anything. Because we have other people doing some studying, but before you get into that studying mode of doing exam questions and blah, I want you to understand this thing here. All right. This paper, the reason why students don't pass is because it is one of the most disconnected papers you ever meet. What I mean, this paper is like, somebody's telling you a story of a man who was in Osaka, and suddenly this man was catching fish in Kapiri, and then this man was in a court of law, and then before you know it, the man was in the USA doing a podcast, and then before that, this man was meeting the United States of America's president, and before you know it, this man was in Solwezi trying to sell some Sadaula, and then this man was, of course, in Indola, supporting some football club, and before you know it, the man is in Osaka, back in his compound. It's not connected. So it's the same thing with this paper. This paper is not connected in any way. There is no connection between this paper, the topics of this paper, and other topics. This paper has got topics that are not connected. For example, if you're in chapter number 1 of this course, you find that chapter number 1 puts you in a position of a consultant. So now in chapter 1, you are the consultant. If you go to chapter number 2, your role has changed. Just like that story I was just telling you about, it's not connecting, no making sense at all. So you have to understand from day one that this paper, each topic you are studying, puts you in a different position. So do not try and connect them. Though we're doing financial reporting and advanced audit, things build up. We begin from assurance, we go to professional issues, ethics. We are building on to risk, substantive testing, evidence, that kind of stuff. Here we don't do that. Every topic is unique, which means you are required to exhibit higher levels of common sense and analytical abilities. So don't try and connect topics in advanced management accounting, partly because they will not connect. This is one of the biggest challenges that I've had to see with a lot of students. A lot of students want to connect. This paper is not connected. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to pass this paper. All right. I just showed you results of one of our top performers who actually got 67% just last week when results were released. Guys, that's not a joke. She did a lot of work. So guys, what I'm trying to tell you here is that every topic you meet in this paper puts you in a different position. So one of the things that I always tell my dear students is that if you are going to go anywhere with advanced performance management, it's extremely important to forget the notes. All right? Forget the notes. When I say forget the notes, it's not a joke, guys. It's actually something extremely serious. You have to leave the textbook alone. Okay? Leave the book alone and do not be in the textbook. Partly because if you compare the difference between advanced management accounting and the strategic business analysis, here's the issue. Those of you who have done strategic business analysis or business leader are at a higher chance of passing advanced management accounting, partly because a lot of topics are similar. In a strategic business leader, the examiner tells you a story, a scenario, and then he gives you a problem. Then he asks you, can you advise what should be done? All right. Now, you advise what should be done based on your professional, as a professional. Okay, yeah, we should do A, B, C, D. In advanced management accounting or performance management, the exam does not ask you to say what is wrong. No, the examiner asks you to point out what could be the source of the problem. So in strategic business analysis, you are looking at the solution to the available problem. What could go wrong? What strategy can they use? In advanced management accounting, you're looking at what could be the source of the problem. All right? And then you're trying to see how do we measure. Then you put into place what is called the key performance indicators. The things that you need to ensure that you are monitoring your critical success factors. So now you're supposed to set up what is called the critical success factors. What you must do right for you to succeed. Then you put on what you must be able to use to monitor your plan. So now here it's a bit like you're starting from the scratch, going to the top. So that's the difference. So we are going to do similar topics, similar models, and similar stuff. But the only difference here is that the focus is going to be a little bit different from advanced APM to, of course, strategic business leader. So that's the minor or smaller difference. A lot of things are similar, and you're going to see that they are quite interesting. Okay, so that's one of the things I thought I should bring to your attention before we actually even get started. But because you're going to be seeing some models that we did. For example, the value chain is going to pop up here. The Bragg scores pricing strategy model is going to pop up here. So a lot of things are going to pop up. Guys, please share the video. A lot of things are going to pop up, and then you're going to see that we are going to be doing quite a number of stuff. So I thought I should be able to make that one very clear to you before we actually get started. Partly because these are the things we're going to be dealing with as we start advanced performance management. Okay, yeah. So also one simple fact, however, is that this paper is the one of those which are not quite taken by most students. A lot of students do not take this paper for reasons that I mentioned, because they perceive it to be tough. Yeah. So there are very few people who take this paper. Yeah. And there are quite a very few individuals that have the courage to take up a paper of this magnitude. So feel free, if you have any challenges, I'll be more than happy to be able to assist. So if you have any challenge, feel free to engage me, and I'll be extremely excited to be able to assist. So we are going to now get into our mode. All right, we are now going to get into our mode. So I'm going to be telling you topic by topic, and we are going to see how this is going to help and how it's going to work. Okay, yeah. So we're going to be going topic by topic, and see how we can how we can get around this one. Okay, so let me bring the screen so that you can now begin to see it. Yeah, so let's go. I'm gonna bring the screen back. Okay, so that you can see it. Okay, so let's go. All right, so now let's get started. Okay, so now first things first, please confirm with me if you can see my screen and you can see my notes, but because I need to make sure that you're able to see my screen as well as, of course, my notes. Just confirm with me that you can see. Oh, you can't see my screen. Okay, let me try and bring it back again. Let's go again. All right, why can't you see my screen? Let me try and bring it back. Let me try and bring it back again. Let's go. Okay, I really hope. How about now? Can you still not see? Oh, now you can see. Okay, fantastic. Good. Okay, so there we go. Okay. If you can see now, that's fantastic. So I'm going to take you back now to the beginning, to the very, very beginning. So yeah, so I hope now everything is fine, but it will not be as perfect as I wanted it to be because I can't find some of the features, but let me just continue like this. All right, so guys, we can now get started into our first, of course, first scenario. So what we have here, like I was saying, I'll take you through chapter number 1. Now, chapter number 1, here we're talking about the role of management accounting in managing organizations. So like I was saying earlier that in this course, if you are going to pass, of course, you must remember that you are going to be having different roles, all right? And one of those roles that we want to talk about this morning is the fact that in chapter number 1, this examiner puts you in a totally different arrangement. So when we are talking about chapter 1, you have a very different role. All right. So here in chapter 1, you are the consultant. Now I want to ask you. I want to tell you something. Why are we saying chapter 1 puts you in the role of a consultant, guys? Now here's the issue. If you are going to manage to pass, don't connect topics in this syllabus, all right? You cannot afford to connect topics because the topics don't match, all right? Like I was saying earlier. So in chapter number 1 here, what we have, of course, planning and control, and of course, we're looking at what is called the role of management accounting in managing organization. So here, chapter 1 is very specific. So the only thing you're going to see, you're more likely to see planning and control questions in the exam. And here's how we're going to do it. First of all, you're supposed to remember that in chapter 1, the examiner puts you in a role of a hybrid accountant. All right. So at this level now, you are no longer that accountant I was talking about, the junior accountant who goes for work in the morning, types things in Excel sheet, submits to either the finance director or whoever that you report to, blah, blah, blah. You're stressed, you're sad, you're being told what to do every now and then. That role has changed. All right. You are no longer that kind of an accountant. So at this level now, you are a whole different level accountant. So here, when you are the consultant, what is your job? That's what I want you to understand. So ask yourself, if the examiner puts you in a role of an accountant, what is your job as an accountant, as a consultant? That is chapter number 1. So chapter number 1, you have to understand your role as a consultant. So I want to ask you a question now. Guys, tell me, what do you think is your job as a consultant? I want you to tell me what you think, just from your own knowledge. What do you think is the role of a consultant? Tell me what you think. What is your role as a consultant? You tell me. What do you think is your role as a consultant?
Maybe mostly if it's technical, it's at least maybe on a particular subject or a scenario, they'll give you a situation, then you give advice, and maybe you also like to give the best advice and the reason why you have to go that way, something like that.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yes. So when you're the consultant, yes, your job as a consultant is to give sound advice. Partly because a client comes to you with a problem, and then the client asks you, says, what, please help me, I have this problem. So as a consultant, now here's one thing I want you to put in mind. As a consultant, you can't tell your client that, what, I don't know what you're asking. You don't do that. Because as a consultant, you have to know it is your job to carry out some research. All right? So as a consultant, of course, you're carrying out research. All right? So when a client comes to you and the client tells you they have this problem and blah, 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 things like that, it is your job as a consultant to carry out research. All right? So now that research, you are doing it behind the scenes, okay? So a consultant, you should know you are the one that knows everything. For the purpose of the exam, let me use this statement. So as a consultant, you have to know that, okay, I'm the consultant, I know everything. All right. So because you know everything, you should be able to come up with sensible solutions to your client's problem. So here, what I'm trying to say is that You are the hybrid accountant who knows the strategic direction of a business. So what you must explain here in chapter number 1, you must know the role of the modern accountant, which you are saying your role now is to drive the direction of the whole organization, not just a department, but the whole company in the long term. All right, so strategic direction between 5 to 10 years. You are the person that makes those shots, right? Which means you are going to be required to use a higher level of common sense. So now, what is going to help you as a hybrid accountant to drive this organization in the way it's supposed to be? You're supposed to understand the 3 important things about every company you're doing in the exam. Number 1, understand the nature of the organizational hierarchy, all right? Understand the company's mission, goals, and objectives. These things you must be at the top of your head before you advise anything, before you suggest the course of action to be taken. As a hybrid accountant who is a consultant in this chapter 1, you must understand what is this company's mission. Mission talks about why the company actually exists. Why is this company in existence? That is mission. So the company's mission must be understood, because the mission is what is going to drive the vision. All right, so you must understand that if you don't understand the mission, you're going to suggest wrong things, and you'll be in trouble. So as a hybrid accountant, first of all, take time to understand the company's mission. Once you know the company's mission, you must also take time to understand what are their goals. All right, so it's important to know the company goals. Okay, what are their goals? You can't begin by advising people. You have no idea what they stand for. You have no idea what they believe in. So how are you going to advise them? So first of all, understand their goals. Goals is that which the company wants to achieve. What is that they want to achieve so much? Because once you understand their mission, the purpose why they exist, you understand the goals, that which they want to achieve, it is going to help you to know the right course of action. It will also help you to understand what the shareholders and stakeholders will tolerate or not. But also, apart from that, as a hybrid accountant, to help you drive the company in a strategic manner, you must also understand their objectives, right? What are their set targets, all right? What do they need to do in order to achieve their goals and their mission? So you have to understand their objectives. So these 3 important things should be on top of your head as the consultant. So don't just wake up and begin to advise, no, I do ABC. No, you don't do that. Here, as a consultant, you must understand your company's strategic goals, strategic mission, goals, and objectives. But also, apart from that one, as a consultant, you must be able to also be able to understand the nature of performance management and control environment. All right, and how coordinated actions may lead to this organization achieving their missions, goals, and objectives. So once you look at their missions, you look at their goals and their objectives, it's going to be able to come up with what type of performance management and control is required for this company to achieve their mission, their goals, and their objectives. And then once you come up with what is required to be done, then you're going to also be able to come up with mechanisms to help you evaluate what has been set in place. So here, you'll be able to evaluate performance control mechanisms to enable optimal performance, which means you're going to come up with what is called key performance indicators and critical success factors. So it's extremely important that you first begin from the top. As a consultant, don't just begin to advise or begin to suggest. First, understand the mission, understand the goals, understand the objectives, and then you sort of find what type of performance management and control is required to be coordinated in this environment for us to be able to achieve the mission, the goals, and objectives. And then once you know that, now you begin to evaluate performance control mechanisms that you put in place so that you can achieve what is called optimal performance. So you set something in place yourself. You assess the mission, you assess the goals and the objectives, and then you come up with mechanisms to achieve those things. Now, how do you achieve those things? You begin out to monitor those mechanisms yourself. So you're going to come up with what's called key performance indicators to monitor those critical success factors you suggested should be done. All right, so that is going to be critical. So now here it is your job. You after analyzing the client's position, then you say, okay, fine, what do they need to do succeed? Then you put in place critical success factors. What the company must do right for them to succeed. And then you say, okay, fine, how do I know they are moving according to plan? Then what do? Now you begin now to monitor the critical success factors using what is called the key performance indicators. So now in the end, as a hybrid accountant, you're supposed to assess the impacts now of other quantitative aspects of performance monitoring and control. So you have to be a all-rounded, full-fledged accountant, of course, for you to be able to achieve all these objectives. But even better, you must be able to explain the ethical context of modern performance management. So in your dealings, be extremely ethical. That's just chapter 1 highlights. Those are the few things you need to understand on chapter 1 if you're going to go anywhere. So there's of course the role of this hybrid accountant. We are going to take a chapter 1, and then we're going to discuss into detail. So today I'm just giving you highlights on each chapter, what you need to know. So when you move from chapter number 1, the examiner of course is going to take us to chapter of course number 2. Okay. And in chapter number 2 now we're talking about strategic performance management. Now this one is a whole different level of thinking. So remember, when we're in chapter number 1, you are the hybrid accountant, you are the consultant, that is your role. If we shift from chapter number 1 to chapter number 2, your role is going to change automatically. All right. So I will not get into details of chapter 1 and details of chapter 2. I'll just brainstorm it for you just to give you an idea of what is expected of you. So we're going to be discussing all things key performance indicators, all things critical success factors. What are they? All things ethics, all things strategic performance management, all things end performance management, all things divisional performance management, all things performance management support. So it's a course that is made up of 4 important divisions. Number 1, of course, strategic performance management. Number 2, entity performance management. Number 3, division performance management. Number 4, performance management support. So you can see it's all about performance. Performance, performance, performance. So anything performance is important in this syllabus. Of course, we have issues in modern management accounting. Yes, they're important, but I won't focus so much on those ones. Of course, we have, of course, the role of management accounting in managing organizations. It's important, but we'll not focus so much on that one. But we're going to focus on these 4 things I just mentioned. That's how we are going to get to those achieving optimal results. So now let's get started now into specifics. We can now get into details of our systems. I want to assure you that it is not going to be a long course. We will meet a few times and we'll be done with the syllabus. I just want you to be open-minded as you are doing this paper, partly because whatever we are going to learn may not even come in the exam, because the exam is very unique, all right? But the principles you are going to learn are going to be essential for you to be able to pass. You need to apply them and be able to see that you make use of the best out of them. So guys, let's now get started into the specifics. Like I said, this is the 4 divisions. I was talking about number 1. I want to focus on what is called strategic performance management. Number 2, can you get that? All right, fantastic. So now number 2, I wanted to also focus on what is called entity performance management. And then number 3, I want to focus on by far the most important, divisional performance management. This is by far one of the most important. And then lastly, I want to focus on what is called performance management support. So there are, of course, some elements of these four topics that we are going to focus on than others. But these are the ones that you need to understand if you're going to get 67%, like Kahemba in the picture there did. She got 67%, which is not a joke. All right. So focus on those 4 core areas. And then we are going to be able to split them into smaller pieces to facilitate understanding. So in the meantime, I'm just telling you stories here. We've not yet started doing anything. We've not yet tackled chapter 1, and I've not gone into the specific techniques. I'm just trying to bring this to your attention. Okay. So if we move on now to chapter number 2, the one I was telling you about, the strategic performance management. This one now is extremely important, but your role now has changed. Remember, in chapter 1, your role was that of a consultant. If you go to chapter number 2, your role has changed. So every time you're doing a chapter in this syllabus, I want you to always remember that you have different roles in each chapter. There's no connection. Don't try to connect topics. No, they're not connected. I want to make that very clear from the outset. They're not connected. So please remember that nothing is connected. Each topic is a standalone topic. All right? You have a technique you're supposed to master for each topic, and that's what you're going to be able to do. You said it's actually easy to pass and be able to focus on other things. All right, so if you are done with that, just now confirm with me. I really hope that my screen is back. I hope that, yes. So now, here's another thing I want to bring to attention. Before we get started, I want you to be able to remember management accounting, performance management, the lower paper, skills level, the degree level paper. There's what we call relevant costing there. There's what we call, short-term decision-making techniques. In that paper, we were thinking in short term. So you find that the same question that you may have been given in that paper may be brought in this exam, but the answers will be very different, because now here we are focusing on the strategic direction of the business. Now, the word strategic means 5 to 10 years, all right? It's a long term. So you can't think in short term. For example, in the lower paper management accounting, we are told that fixed costs are constant in nature. Here, it is not true, because in practice, things change. So at the lower paper, we thought fixed costs were constant. They don't change, all right? Here, they change. So we are going to be able to look at things in much more deeper details. But also, I want to bring in knowledge of other papers. For example, you did cost accounting, you did management accounting, you did financial management, you did strategic business analysis, all right? You did law and audit, which contain ethics and corporate governance. All those topics, all those courses should be able to come and help you pass this exam. So you should have the ability to bring in knowledge from other papers to facilitate understanding and making sense. So like I was saying, there's going to be little calculations in this syllabus. Of course, there are calculations, but most of the calculations which are here are based on principles. You should be able to explain them, all right? You should be able to explain them. So before you get started, understand everything you've learned from other courses is very important and very useful in the understanding of this paper. The only issue here is that here now, we are being examined at a whole different level, but the knowledge from other papers is going to be just as useful as it was when you learned it. So don't make a mistake of if you've never heard of something, think about it in practical terms. How can it help me, and things like that. But a huge chunk of this syllabus is going to be also be borrowed from a strategic business leader. So those models like in the value chain, those other models, Black and Scholes pricing models, all those models are going to be brought again to life in this paper. Peso analysis, all those models now will be brought here. On that, this time around, we are going to be focusing on a different thing. Mendro stakeholder analysis, all those are going to be discussed here. So all those things you've learned from strategic business leader and analysis should be able to help you now improve understanding in this paper. So do not be discouraged. It's a very easy and passable paper. We are going to do our best. All right, we are going to do our very best. So now let's get started into the specifics. You're gonna love this because it's extremely important